the hook gon' be? I don't need no on this beat. Only singing still good on these streets. Ghetto foreign whipping still pushing on it. I came a long way from nights we didn't eat. Came a long way from 75th Street. Candy house trapping, I need everything sweet. But I can't say what happened on the back of them streets. Ay, fast forward cracking, but the package ain't cheap. I know my true to pride, what I became to be. I had to really pay the cost, I never waived the fee. Now it's everything designer with my hanger be. I just really want the money, the fame to me. Guess it come with it, it really ain't no thing to me. Now they loving it, I'm really finna flame the streets. I'm forever humble for every road they pay for me. Not a big bag on me, no big homies, no cosign, just the Eagle gang only. Beat on my brother, won't forget what you told me. 6-tape, mixtape, but classic facts only. They want us to double back, wouldn't be surprised if part 2 got a black. Cause we them guys and we the truth and we brought it back. It's west side till I die, hope you quoting that. Yeah, ain't no holding back, giving out sauce. Gotta go dolo, but it's no love lost. No middleman and what the whole plug cost. We pandemic dealing, me and Vic, young bosses. Lessons ain't losses. Blessings on blessings on blessings keep falling. Labels keep calling. Crawl what they talking about. Cause if it ain't some tickets, then we walking out. If it ain't some tickets, then we walking out. What the hook gon' be? Yeah, I don't need no on this beat. Ay. Only singing still good on these streets. Ghetto foreign whipping still pushing on it. I came a long way from nights we didn't eat. Came a long way from 75th Street. Candy house trapping, I need everything sweet. But I can't say what happened on the back of them streets. Ay, forever humble.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Sorry, it feels like the music there was super loud. I had to reset that one. Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. It's week 17. Fantasy football championships are here. Derrick Henry, if you faced him last night, is trying to do his best to make sure you don't win, but hopefully you had him on your team, because if you did have him on your team, you look like you are quite on the way towards a fantasy championship right here. Look, we got a lot to talk about today, lots of questions to answer. We're going to go about as long as the questions keep flowing, maybe about 45 minutes, hour long maybe, depending on, like I said, how many questions are coming in. So first, before we want to get into the questions today, just want to remind you guys, this is the last stream of the season. I do not do streams in week 18. I do not think that people should be playing in week 18 championships. If you do play in week 18 championships, make sure you're in the Discord, because we will answer questions in the Discord, but I do not make content during week 18. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Make sure you like the content if we do answer your question today. Again, going through some actives and inactives. Guys, right now, Adam Schefter just tweeted over on X. Actives today are going to include T-Mac, Marvin Harrison, Harold Fannin, Trevion Henderson, Demario Douglas, Chris Olave, and Dylan Sampson. So good list of guys that we were questionable coming into the week. Inactives today, Tua Tagovailoa, Dylan Gabriel, Sterling Shepard. You weren't really relying on any of those guys anyways. Does look like potentially a guy like George Kittle is trending towards not playing, which is going to be a big one for you guys. So we'll get into that as well. But let's just hop right into it, man. I see the first question that we have right here is Parkinson or Tonjes if Kittle is out. So, like I said, Kittle is trending towards not playing right now. At least that's the way that it looks for me on paper. When I am looking at these two guys, Parkinson and Tonjes, I do currently have Parkinson as my tight end 15 on the week. Tonjes is not in my top 15 right now. Obviously, you know, he can go up the rankings a little bit if we have official word that Kittle is out, but it does look like he's trending towards that way. So for right now, I'm playing Tonjes. The Kittle scenario is a nightmare. The Kittle scenario is a nightmare because he's going to test it out pregame, is what they've said. At least that's what I've heard, is he's going to test it out pregame, and they're the Sunday night game. So if it seems like right now, Sleeper recently released a report that said it's trending towards him not playing, right? So if that's the case, you have to make your Sunday decision beforehand. You can't figure it out at the 1 a.m. slate or the 1 p.m. slate, and then you have, the afternoon and the Sunday night games to figure it out. You have to figure it out now and take a gamble. I have Kittle in a league. I am benching George Kittle for Adonai Mitchell. That is not what I want to do. I would much rather play George Kittle this week, but I am benching George Kittle right now with the information we have at this point in time, 11:36 a.m., I'm benching George Kittle for Adonai Mitchell. So I think we need to start pivoting. That's at least what I am doing in my leagues. I think you guys should be doing it in yours. The answer to this question for me would be Parkinson. Let's go to this question. I'm assuming we're going to have a lot of Kittle to talk about today. Looking like Kittle isn't a go. Tonjes, Loveland, or Hill have Caleb as one of my QBs. So I would definitely be going with Colston Loveland. He's my tight end 9 on the week. And you said you have Caleb, so that would be a stack incentive as well. Give me Colston Loveland there. Was lucky enough to face Jacobs. Got a big start-sit decision between T-Law and May at quarterback and Tonjes and Hill at tight end. Okay, the Tonjes and Hill question for me is like ceiling versus floor. I think Tonjes probably has a safer floor in this matchup. Hill is the ceiling. He's the guy that could give us 30. He's the guy that could give us 5 points. And I think the reality is because it's based off of the usage that they're going to have to give him potentially. We don't know if he's going to be used like a running back again. We don't know if he's going to be throwing the football. We don't know if he's going to be, doing all that stuff. So I think it's floor versus ceiling. The floor play is Tonjes. The ceiling play is Hill. And I think I would lean towards the ceiling at the tight end position with Taysom Hill. However, when you look at the quarterbacks, Trevor versus May, in a standard 4-point passing touchdown league, I currently have Trevor Lawrence as my quarterback 3 on the week. I'm going to be playing Trevor Lawrence over every quarterback not named Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks that I would play over Trevor Lawrence. So yes, I would play T-Law over May. And I think if you want the ceiling play, Hill at tight end would be my suggestion. If you're looking for just a safe floor, Tonjes is the play. And you're lucky that you played Jacobs. I played Jacobs in one of my leagues, and yeah, well, you know how that went. Need 3: Pitts, Burden, Hendo, Ramondre, got London 2. This is a good group of guys. I think it's very interesting when you look at this group here. When I'm looking at this group, Pitts is high in my rankings this week. Burden is also a player that I think has a lot of opportunity this week. You also have guys like Hendo and Ramondre, which I like both of them. I think with both of them in the lineup, it's going to be a little bit tougher for them. So looking at the matchups for all of them, Ramondre and Henderson, they get that New York Jets matchup. They're 28th against the running back. That's a good spot to try and figure out somebody to play. I do like Luther Burden's matchup as well against San Francisco, but I think if I have to make my plays today, I'm probably going to end up playing Travion Henderson and Kyle Pitts. Those are going to be my 2. You have London. So what you could do if you really wanted to be safe, I think Henderson and Stevenson are going to both have pretty big days. They're 13.5-point favorites in this matchup. An applied team total of 28 points. Like I said, it's the 4th worst matchup for for running backs as far as talent goes. So they should have a lot of opportunity to run. You could play both Travion and Ramondre, and I'm not going to be mad at you about that. So if you want to get away from the London and Pitts thing, and you want to go Hendo and Ramondre, that's fine with me. You would absorb all of the running back points there in New England, which wouldn't be a bad strategy, I think, today. That said, it depends on your league. I don't think you're tight end premium. If it's tight end premium, you play Pitts. But I'm going to lean Henderson and Pitts or Henderson and Ramondre. Burden is going to hit the bench for me. What's up, Kevin? Appreciate you, man. And he says, need a lot of luck with the wide receiver play from the early games. Yeah, this week is insane because I feel like we had a ton of studs on Christmas that all underperformed. Gibbs, Jefferson, all the backup quarterback play. It was not a great Christmas for everybody as far as fantasy football goes. And then yesterday, guys like Jacobs giving us bad days and things like that. So guys like Lamar not playing. So it's been a crazy week 17. This has been probably the worst week of injuries or bust performances all year, and it's the championship. Tonjes or Taysom? I'm going to lean Taysom here again. This is kind of that same question that I said earlier, where Tonjes is the floor play, Taysom is the ceiling play. In a tight end, I'm going to be looking for ceiling more often than not. And then he says he throws in Mayer in there as well, which is a little bit more interesting, but I still think if I have to make the decision between them, I think I'm still going to run with Taysom Hill and shoot the ceiling on that one. So give me Taysom Hill. Marvin, Egbuka, Tonjes, or Waller. I'm going to play one of the wide receivers. Marvin is potentially going to be on a snap count, which isn't ideal. Still lean Michael Wilson over him. I think if I have to play one of the two wide receivers here, because I do like the wide receivers more than those two tight ends. I think I'm going to play... I think I'm going to play Marvin over Egbuka. So give me Marvin here. I like the matchup the most for him. He's going to be the play for me. It's good, kid. Says, don't got any questions, but hope the week does you well. Thank you, sir. We're going to be rooting very much for some underdog teams today because we're in two different tournaments, in the finals of two different tournaments, playing for $20,000 today. So that would be pretty fucking nice to go do that. Thoughts on Malik Willis and Dynasty? Certainly a play that I think is interesting. The play over the last couple of weeks has been good. I'll be honest, though. He may have played his way out of the tax bracket for what Green Bay has to offer him. I think his best situation is to just be Jordan Love's backup. Like, at this point, I'm not going to rock the boat too much. You've been playing well when asked. I'm probably just going to stay there with Matt LaFleur and just, keep playing in Green Bay. But if a team is willing to give some money, it is a weaker quarterback class. However, we do have some better veterans that I think teams would rather go after than a Malik. Guys like Tua, guys like Kyler, guys like, there's plenty of them. Kirk Cousins, maybe, that teams want to go after. He's interesting, but at a very cheap cost for me. He's more of like a lottery ticket that you buy for maybe a third-round pick and you hold on to him throughout free agency and see if something happens. But I think the probability of him being a week one starter, despite how good he's played, I don't want to take any credit from that, but despite how good he's played, I think the probability of him being a week one starter is probably 10% or less for me right now. Damn, this is the last time I'll tune in till next season. It went by so fast. Damn, that's unfortunate, man. It did go by fast. It was a crazy year. But you know what? We still got off-season content, so you can tune in if you want to tune into that. And we're going to be doing Q&As throughout the off-season as well. So if you want to jump in, Frosty, come jump in. Come see us. Pierce says, Week 17 championships, let's go. And follows it up with A.J. Barner or Taysom Hill at tight end. Hill was a Swiss Army knife last week, but Sam Darnold is throwing that ball for incentives. I hear you. I have Hill over Barner in my rankings this week. It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing that I've been saying with Taysom Hill, and it feels like a little bit of a cop-out answer, but the reality is that's the reality of the situation. I have Taysom Hill as my tight end 15 on the week. I have A.J. Barner as my tight end 17. Taysom Hill is a ceiling play against the Tennessee Titans, whereas A.J. Barner feels like a floor play. I can guarantee... Actually, there's no guarantees in fantasy football, but I'm going to do my best and say that I can guarantee A.J. Barner is 8 to 12 points. I know that that's happening. Taysom Hill, for me, it could be a bust of a day, doesn't do anything, or he could go out there and give us 20, 25, 30 points, especially in a tight end premium format. So if I'm looking for upside in my championships, you play Taysom Hill over A.J. Barner, because here's the reality of the situation with the tight end position in general. Most people are playing shit tight ends every week. Most people. There's like 2 elite tight ends every single week, and one of them is not going to play this week, and Brock Bowers. Actually, 2 of them are not going to play this week. The other one being George Kittle, who I think is an elite tight end. Everybody else is playing the Mike Gesicki's, the Darren Wallers, the Dallas Goddards, the Dalton Schultz of the world. None of these guys are elite. Good players, certainly. But if you're looking for upside at the tight end position, I would often chase that more at times than the floor, because when I'm looking at the rest of my league, most of these guys might get bum weeks out of their tight end position anyway, so you can survive a bad week at the tight end position. If you have the boom week at the tight end position, you most likely are going to have an advantage of winning your week, because not a lot of people are going to get that boom from the tight end. So I think that's kind of how I operate when I'm looking at tight end right now. What do we have here? Dart, what's up, man? He says, gang, in 2 to 3 championships, 16-team work league with Neighbors as the first pick. Anything is possible, and damn, that is impressive. 16 teams. going to the championship with neighbors is your first pick, anything truly is possible. Shout out Kevin Garnett. Saad says, full PPR, would you start Bucky or Samson? Just grabbed or just upgraded to active. I would play Bucky over Samson still. Good morning, brother. Start one. I lean Rico because of his incentive, but it's Rico Dowdle, Kyle Monangai, Tedero McMillan, Dylan Sampson, or Michael Carter. I hear you with the Rico Dowdle. I do. However, the highest guy in my rankings this week, I think, is actually I have Michael Carter as the highest ranked running back. Then wide receiver, I have T-Mac as the highest ranked guy. I think I'm going to play Michael Carter, but I hear you with the Rico Dowdle. If your gut's telling you to lean that way because you think they're going to chase the incentive, go for it. But my rankings tell me it's Michael Carter. In my Dynasty League, I was worried about Hendo all week. Played Harvey, then still no news on Hendo, so I played Hampton. Both pulled through, but now I'm benching Hendo over Cook. Obvious, right? Yeah, I mean, you played that correctly. That's probably what I would have done as well. James Cook is my running back 2 on the week, so I'm going to play James Cook over them. I'm more so, I was making a decision. Do I play Rico Dowdle or do I play Travion Henderson? And now that Travion is in, I'm going to be playing Travion over Rico. I'm putting Rico on the bench. So that's kind of where we're at with my decision. But yours is way more obvious than mine is. I got the Bills defense. Should I pick up the Saints or the Bucks? I currently have the Saints and the Bucks over the Bills defense this week. Saints would be my number one defense not my number one defense on the week, my number one defense of those teams that you listed there this week. So I'd probably be playing the Saints defense if I could. Just to hear you say it again, we are playing Lawrence over Hurts. Yes, we are playing Lawrence over Hurts. I have Trevor Lawrence as my quarterback 3. Jalen Hurts is my quarterback 10 this week against Buffalo. So, yeah, unless it's Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott, I'm playing Trevor over all of them. It's Trevor 3, Prescott 2, Burrow 1. Those are my top 3 QBs on the week. What's up, Andre? He says Fannin or Pitts in PPR. I'm going with Pitts, man. I have Pitts as my tight end 2 on the week. Fannin is my tight end 3. So, honestly, you could try and get both of these guys in the lineup, and I'm not mad at you if you flex one of them. But in a straight just decision between Pitts and Fannin, I'm giving the edge to Kyle Pitts by just a slight slim margin there. Hurts or Dart was seeing something about really bad weather in Buffalo. Burden or Brian Thomas? Let's check. Let's check. I'm not sure I heard like really bad weather, but maybe we do. Hold on. Hurts or Dart? Right now, the weather forecast that I have available to me is rain, 42 degrees Fahrenheit, 6-mile-an-hour winds. So the winds are not really a issue for me. The rain, it depends, I guess, on how light. Probably a little bit harder considering this time of year. So I think if you have to decide between these two guys, yes, it's tougher weather-wise. Dart's playing in a dome, so I'm not really worried about weather for him. I still have Jalen Hurts higher than Jackson Dart, so I am going to play Hurts over Dart. And then he says Burden or Brian Thomas. I'm going to go BTJ over Burden this week in half PPR. So, yeah, give me Hurts and give me BTJ. McMillan is potentially ill and may not play. How do you feel about Kyle Williams as a precaution if T-Mac can't go? I think we got news that T-Mac is active. Adam Schefter tweeted just a couple minutes ago, it was about 20 minutes ago, that T-Mac is active today. So could he be limited in his play? Maybe, but he is going to play. So I do think you can play T-Mac. Kyle Williams as a precaution, sure. I'll tell you what though, I'm not eager to play a guy like Kyle Williams in my championship game. I would rather lean with T-Mac if I have any type of capacity for T-Mac. What do we got? Mostly says, Tet was questionable with an illness this morning. Are we concerned? Really thinking about starting Gainwell over him. What do we think? This one's a little bit closer for me. T-Mac versus Gainwell. Again, we had Adam Schefter tell us that T-Mac was going to play. So I'm going to take that as he's active and he's ready to go. I'm not mad at playing Gainwell over T-Mac, though. In my rankings this week, I think I would actually be leaning Gainwell anyways. Gainwell is a top 12 running back for me this week in PPR formats. So I'm probably okay leaning Gainwell over T-Mac anyways. So, yeah. Henderson, Jennings, and Michael Wilson. I'm going with Jennings there. Jennings is the play. Wait for Drake London or play Wandell with the Raiders sitting down. I would still play Drake London. I'd still play Drake. Was thinking Carter because of the Bengals. I like Carter, man. I think that Cardinals team isn't going to be super great. I expect them to kind of get stomped. I think Joe Burrow is going to play bully this week, but I do think Michael Carter should get a lot of usage this week. So if you're chasing usage, I think it should be fine. I had Henry last night and Harvey Thursday, so I'm thinking I'm good either way, but I don't know if I should just go with London. Yeah, I mean, you do sound like you're right where you want to be. I have Drake London currently as my wide receiver 8 on the week, so I'm playing Drake, man. Are you still going Estime over Sampson, Raheem Sanders, Algier, DeMercado, or White? I think with Dylan Sampson being active now, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards Sampson. And that's probably where I end up going. I'll probably go Sampson over Estime now that we have the news of him being active, because he was questionable all week. We didn't know whether or not he was going to go, but like I said, Adam Schefter dropped those actives just about 20 minutes ago, and Dylan Sampson was in it. So I'm going Dylan over Estime. Joe Burrow, Purdy, or Stafford? I'm going Burrow. He's QB1 on the week for me. J-Mo says, Harold Fannin, Loveland, or Taysom Hill. Also still feeling good about Stafford over Hurts and 6-point passing. Yep, still feeling good about Stafford over Hurts. I'm going Harold Fannin at the tight end position, though, for you, J-Mo. Brew City Bob says, last one, brother. Jacobs laid an egg, but Watson had a good game. Full PPR, tight end premium start 2. Waller, Downs, Pearsall, Chuba, or Knox. I feel you on that Jacobs stuff, man. I played Jacobs too, but I feel like I couldn't sit him knowing he was active. It's just sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'll live and die by the studs that are on my team. For the other question here, Waller, Downs, Pearsall, Chuba, or Knox. I think I'm going Waller and Downs, because that's a tough group of guys to pick from, but I think Waller and Downs would be my 2 plays. And appreciate you, Bob. Thank you for, tuning in all year, and thank you for always supporting the channel. And yes, you're looking forward to the off-season content. So am I. I will be happy to see you guys there. Dart says, pick one flex, no tight end premiums. You got Monungai, DK, Loveland, or Tyler Warren. Give me Loveland, man. I'm playing Loveland there still in a no tight end premium. I'm assuming it's still a PPR format, just no premium. So give me Loveland. Pick 2, Myers, Godwin, Gainwell, Burden, Carter. Myers and Gainwell would be the 2 plays for me there, Frank. Start 2, Pitts, Higgins, Diggs, Jennings. No, I'm already starting Burrow, Chase, and Henderson. I'm going to go with Jennings for one of them for sure. I think the other one, Pitts, Higgins, Diggs. Pitts, Higgins, Diggs. This one's tougher. Diggs matchup, Pitts matchup, and Higgins matchup are all middle of the packs. 15th, 14th, and 13th against their respective groups. We get domes and good weather for the most part in all of these teams, all of these games right now as far as the weather forecast goes. I think I'm going to lean... T. Higgins here, man. I'm going to play T... Like I said, I think Joe Burrow is going to play bully. I know you said you already have Chase in the lineup as well. If you wanted to hedge, the only other option I would go with would be Diggs, but you'd be wrapped into that one. But I think the game script's going to be worse for the Patriots. I think they're going to run the football more than they pass it. So yeah, I'm going Jennings and I'm going Higgins here. You're going to end up playing all 3 Bengals, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, but I'm okay with it. If it's any type of tight end premium, though, you can start leaning Kyle Pitts. But you didn't mention it, so I think we're probably just straight up PPR here. And yes, you did. You changed it. You said PPR. So yeah, I'm going to go with Higgins and I'm going to go with Jennings. Patriots Seahawks defense in standard. I sat Texans defense who got 9, and since Kittle is out, since Kittle is probably out, also in standard, would you play Fannin or Strange? I would play Fannin over Strange. For the defenses, though, I'm probably going to end up going with the Patriots defense. I'm going to play the Patriots defense. Half PPR, pick 2, Jennings, Swift, BTJ, Michael Carter, Shakir. Then for quarterback, Hurts or Lawrence. I'm going with Lawrence over Hurts. And then I'm going Jennings, and it's between Swift and BTJ here for the last one. I think I'm going to end up leaning... I think I'll lean Swift there. It's a good matchup for Brian Thomas Jr., 30th against Indiana. Indianapolis, I guess that is. But we have a higher over-under in that game against the Niners for Swift. I think I'm going to take Swift there. Give me Swift and give me Jennings, and then give me Lawrence. Championship. Thank you for your help all season, Andrew. Need one wide receiver, one flex, half PPR. Olave, Evans, Tracy. I got it saying take the volume with Tracy. Projected tie game. Your gut's saying take the volume. I do like Tracy this week. Mike Evans is a top 7 wide receiver in my rankings in PPR. Actually, that was half PPR. I was looking at my half PPR rankings for the last question. He's a top 10 wide receiver in PPR for me. I'm playing Mike. So then it gets to the question of Olave versus Tracy. And I think I play Olave. It's Olave and Mike for me. And I know you want the volume. I don't know, man. I don't know. Trust your gut. If your gut has Tracy, get him into the lineup. But I would probably rank them Olave, Evans, and Tracy in that order for me as far as the plays. And actually, you just said half PPR. So I apologize. I need to go back and look at my half PPR rankings. That being said, I think that makes me feel a little bit worse about a guy like Tracy. So I'm still going to go Olave, and I'm still going to go Evans in that order in half PPR. Appreciate you, J-Mo. Thank you. I know we are high on T-Law today. How do we feel about PJ Washington? PJ over Kyle Williams today. Pat's wide receivers are hurt, and so Kyle Williams can get some usage today. Yeah, we're higher on T-Law. I think Parker Washington versus Kyle Williams is an interesting choice. Just because, like I said, I think that game script for the Patriots is going to be a little bit more run heavy. I would probably go Parker over Kyle. The matchup is better. The line is better. It's in a dome. I'm going Parker Washington here, and probably not playing Kyle Williams. Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, man. Happy holidays to you as well. Is Gainwell more of a start with DK out? Absolutely. Absolutely. Austin from the Saints and drop Thornton from the Raiders. Do you think Thornton can be something in Dynasty? I think I would rather have Thornton still. But it's going to be interesting to see how they end up using him. He just feels like he plays that outside role so much better than some of these, maybe not than some of the other guys that they've had, but it feels like they're not utilizing him correctly. There's a role for him in that offense. I would rather have Thornton. DJ Moore, Tracy, Olave. I'm going to go with Olave, and I'm going to go with DJ Moore. Rodgers versus Cleveland, no Metcalf or Travion against the Jets. Kind of need upside after Jacobs doing nothing last night. I would go, if you're chasing upside, I would be going with Travion against the Jets. They said this is a PBR Superflex spot. I figured. I would go with Travion for the upside. Went with Malik over Bryce Young, and it paid off. I got 6 left. He got 3, so I need the best floors between Swifty, Monungai, Wandell, Burden, Waller, full tight end premium. The best floor for me here is going to be DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is the play. He's the best floor of all of those guys. I think he's probably the highest ceiling play of those guys as well. Loveland, Marv, or Kyle Williams in PPR. It's between Loveland and Marv. I think I'm going to lean with Marv, though. Give me Marvin. Loveland or Taysom. I would be playing Loveland here. And then he says Burden or Corum. I would play Burden there. So it's Loveland and Burden, both of the Bears for me, Evan. But we are caught up, folks. We're about 30 minutes in. We're caught up. I do want to remind you guys as well, if we answered your question, do me the favor, hit that like button. It is the best free way to show this channel some support. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Off-season content coming all year round, talking about rookies, NFL draft, dynasty leagues, all of that good stuff, all the fun stuff, man. That's the best stuff to talk about, in my opinion. Trades, dynasty trade shows every single week starting mid-January again. Assuming you guys are getting active in those trade rooms to give us the trades to talk about. But other than that, you know, that's really it, folks. So let's throw some more questions in the chat if you have them. If you don't, no worries. We can wrap it up and take some time before the games. Don't think I got too much more for you guys. So throw some more questions in if you have them. If you don't, like I said, no sweat. And we'll go from there. I'll tell you guys my tough start sit decisions that I've been making today. One of them that I struggled with all week was Jalen Waddle versus Ladd McConkey. I ended up benching Ladd McConkey, and I went with Jalen Waddle. So far, so good. We'll see what happens there. I think the other one that I was debating this week was Dak Prescott versus Jared Goff, and I ended up going with Dak Prescott. So hopefully the right start sit decision there as well. In my other league, I've been debating Troy. I debated Troy Franklin versus Jordan Addison on Thursday. I'm pretty sure Jordan Addison outscored him. I can't remember entirely, but I'm pretty sure we lost that one. That was a tougher start sit decision for me. And now we're going with Adonai Mitchell over George Kittle, which isn't by choice by the most part. And then my last one that I had a really tough start sit decision was waiting on TreVeyon Henderson. I'm playing TreVeyon Henderson over Rico Dowdle this week. And my tight end position in my redraft league has been kicking my ass all week. I have the misfit tight ends of all misfit tight ends. I picked up Michael Mayer, AJ Barner. We have K. Dotton, we have Darren Waller, and we have Mike Gesicki on the roster. And I'm playing Mike Gesicki this week. That one's the one I feel like I'm most likely to get wrong just because I don't think anybody stands out. But I like the matchup for Gesicki against Arizona. I said Burrow's going to play bully. That's kind of the game script that I'm projecting. So I'm going Gesicki, and that's going to be probably my toughest decision there all week. Shuck or Dart this week? I like Dart over Shuck. Dart says, appreciate you, Andrew. Who are the big players in your underdog tournaments? We have the same players on both teams, not all the exact same players, but we have, let's see. I have the two rosters right here. One of the rosters is, actually, you know what? Let's just pull this up. We'll get to the questions, folks. I promise we will. But I'll pull this up real quick. Let's see if we can find it. Hold on. Maybe that works. It's gonna have to switch over to my best ball summer because that one always does it better. There you go. It's gonna have to switch over here. This is what we did this summer, but I'll show you the team real quick. So the Hound Dog right now, this team is the one in the finals. This team currently has Penix, which is a dead asset. Unfortunately, JJ McCarthy, who's a dead asset. Matthew Stafford, though, is the QB. We got ETN, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Chase Brown. Love the running backs here, and having Kenneth Walker and Chase Brown is pretty unique. You see guys like Cook and ETN there. For the wide receiver, we got Keenan Wandell, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed, Olave, McConkey, and Puka. So, we need a little bit more from this wide receiver room, especially from Puka. We need a big day from him, probably a big day from Olave as well. And then tight ends here, I'm going to take your comment off of it. We got Theo, Otten, and Kelsey. Those are the guys there. But the big ones we're really rooting for are going to be like Olave, Puka, Chase Brown, James Cook, ETN, and probably Stafford here. So this one, didn't get off to the greatest start. This little Dalmatian team, this is for 20,000 as well, for first place. This team has Rodgers, Stafford, Goff, Kyler, Taj Brooks, Braylon Allen, ETN, Kamara, Cook. So we just need ETN and Kamara because those are pretty much the only running backs we have alive. We need those guys to have solid days. Michael Wilson in here, Cedric Tillman, Khalil Shakir, Rashi Rice, Marvin Harrison, Puka, and Amon-Ra. So again, we kind of got a stinker of a day from him. We need Marvin to do something this week. And then Hunter Henry Kincaid. So, not the Christmas days and not the Saturdays we wanted from these teams, but we still got some big players left, and ETNs and James Cooks and Pukas. Those are kind of the guys still alive. So hopefully we still get something from them overall. But let's get back out of here. Let's get to the questions. I see we got a super chat from Wandair. Appreciate you, Wandair. He says, Henderson or Swift? I'm projected to win by 20, half PPR. Worried it's the Ramondre show and Henry gets no touches. I would still play Henderson over Swift personally in mine. And he says, question above. We got you. I'd still play Henderson personally for me. If it was my decision, I would go Henderson. Appreciate you, man. That's what I was leaning. Taysom had some good usage last week, finally, though, so it had me second guessing. Yeah, makes sense. DeAndre Swift or Travion playing Luther Burden at the wide receiver. I would go Travion over Swift, personally, for me. Buddy of mine chose Gainwell, DJ Moore, Ramondre. Has to choose between Gainwell, DJ Moore, Ramondre, Shaheed in a full PPR. Interesting. I think I'd go with Kenny Gainwell. Still. Kittle seems to be out. Do we fire up Gesicki or Chig? I would go Gesicki over Chig. I'm playing Gesicki in one of my leagues. Up by 20, but JMO gave me a stinker. Which wide receiver, full PPR, London or Mike Evans? Leaning Evans for the floor. I currently have London over Evans in my rankings. I like the matchup better for London, and I just have them one spot higher. They're back to back, both of them top 10 plays. If your gut's saying chase the floor of Evans, go for it. But I have London higher. Pick one: Demarcus Robinson, Austin, MVS, or start Thornton, Pearsall, or Besh. I need a wide receiver. Hollins is out, and Pearsall and Besh are questionable. Wow. I mean, I think the answer is probably MVS. I would probably play MVS with all of their receivers out as well. He could be the big play guy. This is deep, but I'm going MVS here. All right. Let's see, folks. Any other news? Nothing else that we haven't seen. Marvin active. Harold Fannin officially active. T-Mac officially active. Olave expected to be active. Dylan Sampson active. Nothing new, man. I think we're kind of where we're at. So I noticed that the questions are a little bit slowed down now. It feels like we've kind of got to everybody's questions for the most part. We're about 40 minutes in. I said we'd go about 45 to an hour, so maybe a little bit short, but I think I'm going to call final call here, wrap this one up. So I'm going to give you guys like 60 to 90 seconds to get your final questions in. So let those come in, and then we'll go from there. Other than that, folks, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Root for these underdog teams that I have here with Chase Brown, James Cook, Puka, all that stuff, because it'd be nice to get a decent little Christmas bonus from underdog, if you know what I'm talking about. But off-season content coming. still kind of looking for the questions. We still don't have any, so I think we'll wrap this one up, man. Appreciate everybody. Nothing else for you guys today. Love you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Good luck in Week 17 championships. We will see you guys. There's going to be a video coming out on, what is it, Monday? I see we got a couple questions here, so I'll get to them in the buzzer beaters. But we got another video coming out on the 30th. What is that, Tuesday? Yeah, we got a video on Tuesday for you. Last one of 2025. So Tuesday will be the last video. Keep an eye out for that one. Dart says, let's get these dubs and collect some cash. Always love and stay blessed. Appreciate you, Dart. Thank you so much. And Alex with the buzzer beater question says, Taysom Hill, Parkinson, or Barner? This is floor versus ceiling. Taysom Hill is the ceiling play. I am playing Taysom Hill here at the tight end position. But that's it, folks. Nothing else for you. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace out.